They called it progress. But for the workers, it was a prison. Now, they're fighting back.
My name was David, but in the system, I was just Gamma 12, a string of code, a data point in an endless stream of information, processed and analyzed by an invisible force. I don't think they even knew my real name. In here, your name is what the system calls you. At first, it felt like a game. The scanner was my partner. We moved together, a blur of motion through the towering aisles of the warehouse. Every package I scanned, it would reward me with a friendly green beep, a little digital pat on the head. Scan, beep, good job, scan, beep, keep going. Each green light was a hit of dopamine, a small victory that pushed me faster. It was addictive. The system praised speed, efficiency. It turned the grueling work into a high-score challenge. I was good at it. I was one of the best. The green beeps came faster and faster, a constant, reassuring hum that told me I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing. Then comes the first red alert. It changes everything. I had stopped for just a moment to catch my breath, leaning against a steel shelf. The scanner in my hand, which had been my ally, suddenly flashed a menacing red. The screen read, idle time, 92 seconds penalty applied. My heart sank. 92 seconds. That's all it took. It wasn't just a warning. It was a punishment. A digital crack of the whip. In that moment, the game was over. The illusion shattered. You realize you're not just being assisted by technology. You're being watched. Every second is counted. Every movement tracked. The friendly green beeps now seemed like a trick, a lure to keep you running on the digital hamster wheel. You're not a player anymore. You're just a cog in a machine that never sleeps, and it doesn't like it when you stop. I wasn't a person anymore. I was just a collection of metrics. I saw it once, on a manager's screen. Performance profile, GAMMA12. There I was, reduced to a series of graphs and percentages. My pick rate, my idle time, my error frequency. A cold, calculated summary of my existence within those four walls. There was no mention of the time I stayed late to help cover a shift, or the day I came in sick because the team was short-staffed. None of that human stuff mattered. My value was a number, fluctuating with every scan, every step, every breath. The system saw me as a resource to be optimized, like a piece of software to be debugged. And when your performance dips, you're not a person having a bad day. You're a bug in the code, a flaw that needs to be corrected or deleted. One afternoon, I saw Maria stumble. She was older, had been working here for years. A heavy box slipped from her grasp, and she went down hard. I rushed over without thinking, helping her to her feet, making sure she was okay. While I was kneeling beside her, my scanner, which had fallen from my belt, started flashing on the ground beside us. Red again. The system called helping a coworker, off-task time. It flagged my compassion as a drop in productivity. Efficiency doesn't account for humanity. In the algorithm's cold logic, stopping to help someone is a statistical anomaly, a deviation from the optimal path. There's no variable for empathy. The machine demands relentless forward momentum, and anything else, even a basic act of kindness, is a bug in the perfect heartless design. That's when I started documenting everything. I knew I couldn't fight the system on its own terms. So, I started building a case. My phone became my weapon. I took photos of the impossible targets on the screen. I wrote down the times the scanner would glitch, penalizing me for its own errors. I took screenshots of the constant, threatening messages about my performance. Every little piece of data, every unfair penalty, every glitch, I collected it all. I was building a case against my invisible, algorithmic boss. It was my secret project, done in stolen moments, in the shadows of the warehouse shelves. It was a risk, a huge one. But for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had some control. I was no longer just a victim of the code. I was its observer, its critic. The system fought back. It didn't need a manager to issue a warning. The retaliation was silent, coded, and brutal. Suddenly, my assignments changed. The algorithm started sending me exclusively to the sections with the heaviest items: refrigerators, furniture, industrial parts. My pick rate, which was once my pride, plummeted. The physical toll was immense. My back ached, my knees screamed. My performance score, once in the high 90s, dropped to 67.41. It was a downward spiral designed by the machine itself. They weren't firing me that would create a paper trail. They were making me quit. It's a cleaner, cheaper way to get rid of a problem. It's called constructive dismissal. But here, it was algorithmic attrition. The code was designed to break me, to make the job so unbearable that I would walk away on my own. One night, sitting in my small apartment, the screen of my laptop was the only light. I had compiled everything: the photos, the notes, the testimonies from others I had spoken to in whispers. It was all there, in a single folder, attached to an email addressed to a handful of investigative journalists. My cursor hovered over the send button. My hands were shaking. This was it. The point of no return. They could track my every move at work, optimize my every second. But they couldn't control this. They couldn't predict this. I had one weapon they couldn't algorithmize: the truth. And in that quiet moment, with the city asleep outside my window, I clicked send. I had no idea what would happen next, but I knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. The aftermath was swift. The stories broke. News headlines flashed across screens. Warehouse workers treated like robots. The tyranny of the algorithm. The company got a fine, a slap on the wrist. They issued a press release filled with corporate jargon about improving our systems. For me, the result was a termination letter, cold and impersonal, delivered by courier. I lost my job. I lost my health insurance. I lost my stability. I found myself sitting in the sterile, gray waiting room of the unemployment office, a place filled with stories like mine. I had won a battle, but it felt like I had lost the war. I had exposed the system, but the system had spit me out and replaced me without a second thought. But then, something started to happen. My story wasn't just my story. Through the articles and the online forums, other names began to appear. Not real names, but system names. Beta 7, Delta 22, Epsilon 4 faces started to emerge from the anonymous workforce. We were an invisible army, scattered across different warehouses, different cities, all fighting the same invisible boss. We had all felt that isolation, that feeling of being a ghost in the machine. Seeing their stories, I realized I wasn't alone. I was just the first one to speak up. We were all Gamma 12, and our collective voice was something the algorithm could not process. We started to organize. Not in union halls, but on encrypted messaging apps and private forums. We built our own network, a human one. We shared evidence, compared notes, and supported each other. We built a counter-system. Workers started testifying before labor boards. Lawmakers, finally paying attention, began drafting new regulations, an ethical code for workplace AI. It was slow, painstaking work, but we were writing new rules, rules that put people before profits, dignity before data. We were no longer just cogs. We were the architects of a more humane future, building it, line by line, connection by connection. The system is powerful, but it has a blind spot. It can calculate the most efficient route to pick a package, but it can't understand why a person would stop to help someone who has fallen. It can measure 1,000 data points a second, but it can't measure a person's spirit. It can't quantify courage. It can't algorithmize hope. And it will never, ever understand why human beings will always choose dignity over efficiency. The algorithm is not your boss. Never forget that. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe for more.